Hello and welcome to the Strong, Healthy, Happy podcast. Now, this is a bit of a part two to my previous podcast, which was called Stepping into the Gym, Helpful Tips and Reassurances to Strength Train. This is part two, and I'm not sure what I'm going to title it, but it's going to be something along the lines of, you're in the gym, well done, now here's some tips and guidance. If you haven't listened to the episode before this, stop listening to this episode and listen to that one first, and then come back to this one. It will make a lot more sense, and I cover things in that episode that I'm not going to go over in this episode. This is a different type of episode with more tips and helpful advice to help you now that you're in the gym and you need a bit of more direction and focus. So listen to them in order. Now, firstly, celebrate the fact that you're in the gym environment, because I know it's a really big step and I know just how much confidence it can take to just get through the doors. But now that you're in the gym, let's talk about how you can get the most from your workouts. I want to help you come up with a plan and have a rough idea of what you're going to do when you get in there. So instead of walking into the gym and standing there thinking, what shall I do today? I want you to have a bit more of a plan. And I'm going to share that with you. And this is the sort of plan that I would advise. Now, there are many apps, there are many online things that you could probably get to help you come up with a plan, right? You could probably find workouts, also generic workouts online. It's not too difficult. You might also want to just go old school and sometimes just getting a little notebook and noting down what machines or what exercises you're doing, how many you're doing, and what weights you're using. And I will kind of go into why a bit later in this podcast, but in case I forget to just point that out, it's a really good idea, and I will explain why. But the kind of structure that I'm going to ask you to do when you go into the gym is do a bit of a warm-up to start with, rather than just start lifting heavier weights and your body's not yet warmed up. Now, not only do you want to warm up physiologically, get a bit of heat through the body, especially we're sort of in the UK moving towards winter. Aircon can be on in the gym and sometimes it's blooming freezing in there. You want to get a bit warm before you start, doing your workout. And you can warm up by doing a bit of cardio to get you warm up and prepared. 5 to 10 minutes is all that you need. You do not want to start doing a cardiovascular workout before you do weights. You want to just use it just to get moving. You can also, most gyms have like a bit of a sort of area where you can do some mobility work and some stretching. It's not so much stretching that you need, it's more mobility. Just doing, like we're all a bit stiff sometimes in our body. You know what you need to do, whether it's lying on the floor and dropping your knees to one side, lying on your back and just letting your knees fall from one side to the other, doing a cat to cow just to, stretch through the spine, just doing some kind of, lunging movement or something whereby you're just getting a bit of mobility through the joints. And then you want to prioritize your strength training. And if you're new in the gym, it is a really good idea to start with machines, which I explained in the previous podcast episode. It's much easier because you can't drop, it's not like a dumbbell where you have to have a certain amount of control. And if you were to let go of the dumbbell, it would literally drop on the floor. With a machine, you're working through like a cable. It's all very, the machine only moves in the direction and the way that it's going to move. You can't do anything wrong. Yes, the weights can clatter, but it's not a really big deal. You'll soon learn what the range of movement is. But it's a really good to start with the machines. Now, what I would recommend you do is pick 3 to 4 machines for your workout. Start with something manageable. Don't have a whole long list of everything you're going to do. Pick 3 or 4 things and 3 or 4 machines and start with your biggest muscle group first. Now, if you look at your body, your legs take up half of your body. So that is your biggest muscle group, are your legs. So whether it's more quads or hamstrings or a combination of everything, that is the biggest muscle group. So it's really, it's sometimes a great idea. It is a great idea to start with the with the biggest muscle group first. And then you could just pick 3 other machines. You might pick one for chest, one for back, one for shoulders, and you've pretty much covered your full body. When you're doing back exercises, your biceps are also assisting the movement. So you're kind of getting a 2 for 1 in that exercise. You don't need to train biceps on their own. You don't need to do that. And when you're doing chest or any pressing movements like shoulder press or chest press, you're using your triceps as well as those muscle groups. And so you're getting, again, 2 for 1 in those exercises. And this can also be, if you're using something like a leg press, you're doing quads, you're doing glutes, you're doing hamstrings, you're kind of getting a lot of muscle groups involved. So just pick 3 to 4 exercises. If you're getting into the gym 2 to 3 times a week, I would recommend 3 as a minimum. But if you're getting in 3 times a week, it's a really good idea to do full body workouts so that when you go in 3 times a week, you are stimulating all your muscles in all over your body 3 times. And you want to be stimulating your muscles as frequently as possible. It's not about doing really long workouts, being in there for hours, but not doing it very often. You are better to do, 20, 30 minutes, but do it regularly, minimum 3 times a week. It is more beneficial for you to stimulate your muscles regularly. Identify the 3 to 4 machines you're going to do. Now, you might pre-plan this, especially when you're getting in there a bit more frequently. You'll know the machines that you're using. And you can just write down, you might do 3 or a combination of different machines every time you go, but you want to use full body. And you want to generally start with the biggest muscle group first, or the exercise that you find the hardest, do it first when you've got more energy. You want to learn the movement pattern. And it's always, I've talked about like warming up and preparing physiologically. It's also very beneficial to benefit you psychologically, and also prepare the neuro pathways of the movement pattern you're going to be doing on each machine. So lifting a really light weight to warm up on the machine before you even start your actual sets is a really good idea, because you're saying to your body, this is what we're going to be doing. Just, do like 8 to 10 reps, nice and light. And your body is like, all right, we're doing the leg press. Okay, here we go. Know what we're doing. Yeah, I'm bending. Yeah, know exactly what I'm doing. So that when you then do your first set, you will be prepared, you will be warmed up, and you will be ready to use the weight that you are going to work. It's called your working weight. You don't want to use your first set as a warm-up set. That needs to be your first working set. And you want to have, you want to get familiar with the form. You've learned the movement pattern and you've done your warm-up. Now, generally speaking, a lot of messaging on social media is, women, you need to lift heavy. And yes, lifting heavy is very beneficial. But if you're new to the gym, you can't lift heavy because you haven't learned good form, you haven't built stability, you haven't built core strength, you haven't built experience doing a certain movement pattern. So to jump in with a really heavy weight and low reps is basically a pathway to getting injured, and then you won't be able to exercise for a while at all. So we want to be smart. And I would recommend around 10 to 15 repetitions. So you're repeating the movement within like a 10 to 15 rep range. And what you will learn over the weeks of repeating the same exercise is that maybe on week 1, the 20 kilogram weight was so hard for you, you could barely do 10 reps. But now, fast forward 3-4 weeks, you're doing 15 reps and it feels really easy. You want to be increasing your weights, and you'll notice that you can increase your weights and, gradually over time. And what felt really difficult in the beginning is now feeling really easy. So this is how you're making progress. And this is how you gradually increase the weights. Lifting heavy also helps you not just benefit. Let me just start that again. Learning the machine, getting your rep range up to 15, feeling confident with your form and then being able to increase your weight will not only benefit your muscle stimulation, it will also help you build your confidence and also help you learn the weights that you want to be using to get the maximum benefit from each exercise. Some exercises you may progress with more quicker. Some, especially upper body for women, we don't use our upper bodies very much typically. They may be a little bit weaker and it may take more time to build strength. So just sort of be patient with yourself. Now, I talked at the beginning about apps or getting an old school notebook or even using your phone notes. It's a really good idea to note down your reps and sets, because then you have a record of what you did, so that when you go in the gym the next time and you repeat the same exercise, you can see what you did last time and you're able to know, I know I increased to 40 kilograms. I know I can do that. So I'm going to do my warm-up set and I know that I can do this quite confidently, so that you're not regressing, you're keeping the progress going in a forward trajectory, and you will learn what weights you're capable of. And I do want to insert here that you are stronger than you realize. And because you want to be cautious, typically, everyone I speak to, and I coach a lot of women, I always say to them, you've been on the same weight for 4 weeks. They don't want to injure themselves. I'm like, you're not injuring yourself. You've been on the same weight. Come on. You're like, let's do it. And they do it. And they're like, oh my God, I did it. And I'm like, yes, you're stronger than you realize. And so are you. Now, training intensity is really important, and you will learn training intensity as you build your confidence. And training intensity means that you're lifting the weight suitable for the rep range. So if you've got, say, 15 reps, a 10 to 15 rep range, when you first start, you may be just about to get 10. Then, each week you get able to do another rep. And before you know it, you're doing all 3 sets at 15 reps. If the last couple of reps look no different to the first couple of reps, it is far too easy. You need to be increasing your weight. Now, you do it incrementally and you do it gradually. You're not going to go 3 plates up on the machine. Start with 1 plate at a time. And if you are using dumbbells, 1 kilogram, some of them are in 2 kilogram increments. Go slowly. You don't want to jump too quickly. And small increases make a big difference. And you want, ideally, your training intensity that the last few reps are a real effort and struggle. And you've got what I call the ugly training face, where you're grimacing, because that's sort of where you want to be, because you're putting in the effort to get those last couple of reps done. And maybe you can no longer do 15 because you've increased your weight. Your reps have dropped back down nearer to the 10 mark, but that's okay, because over time you're going to get stronger and you're going to gradually increase the weight. You may increase your weight, but not across all 3 sets. And that's fine too. Gradually you will apply it across all 3 sets. But to start with, you may just increase the weight of 1 set. See how you get on, see how you feel. It's very much about how you feel and taking the appropriate action. What I've just sort of described is known as progressive overload, and this is how you build muscle. Progressive overload is where you're progressing the weight over time. You can also apply progressive overload to your form by having nice, controlled, slow movements. You don't want to be rushing through your exercise. It needs to be slow and controlled, probably a lot slower than you realize, especially on what's known as the eccentric part of the exercise, which is generally the lowering phase of an exercise. Now, if you've heard me talk about reps and sets and you're like, what the flip is a rep and a set? The reps are the number of repetitions you complete to do an exercise, and a set is like a set of 10 to 15. And ideally, you're going to do a minimum 2 sets, go up to 3 if you can. You may start with 2, you might start with 1, then you gradually increase to 2, and before you know it, you'll be doing 3 sets. And in between each set of repetitions, you're going to implement, it could be a minute, it could be up to 2 minutes of rest. You don't want to have 2 shorter rests under a minute, because you won't be fully recovered to really put in a great amount of effort in the following set. So do make sure that you take adequate rest before repeating it. You want to train as effectively as you can. You want to use your time really well in the gym to get the most from your workout. I talked about shorter but more frequent workouts at the beginning of this podcast episode, and I want to talk about why it's better to do shorter but more frequently than the long workouts but less frequently. And that's because I want you as a woman, and if you're listening to this, and I coach and work with a lot of women and speak to a lot of women who are generally over 40. I do have clients below 40, and I have a lot of clients into their 60s as well. But midlife tends to be where the majority of my clients are aged. And this really applies to anybody of any age, and that is stimulating your muscles regularly helps you preserve the muscle that you already have, and ideally will help you build more muscle tissue. Your muscle naturally declines with age, and lots of muscle loss is known as sarcopenia. And you training regularly and stimulating it slows it down and can reverse it by building more muscle tissue. The more muscle tissue you have, the more calories you will expend at rest. Muscles are metabolically active, meaning they burn calories at rest. So why not burn more calories doing nothing by simply strength training and building muscle tissue? Strength training will also strengthen your bones. So stimulating your muscles will also benefit your bones, increase your bone density, lowering your risk of osteoporosis. Your joint health will improve. You'll have strong muscles to support and protect your joints and help you reduce any aches and pains. Strength training, as it's improving your joint health, it will also give you better balance and stability, reducing any risk of falls, especially as you're aging and you're getting older. I know we can't imagine ourselves at that point, but risk of fall is one of the most common reasons of, I don't want to scare you, but it is the most common reason for death in the elderly from falling, not from the fall itself. Well, it is from the fall, but it's everything that declines as a result of that fall. So you will have better stability and balance. And even if you're not at that sort of age yet, as we're not, it's going to just generally improve the confidence in your daily movement, reaching things down, lifting things, carrying things. It's very, very beneficial. Mental and emotional benefits of strength training and stimulating your muscles regularly from those shorter, more frequent workouts helps you feel strong. And when you feel strong, you'll carry yourself differently, and you will build so much more confidence in your body. You will also notice a reduction in stress and anxiety. Working out, just being and moving your body makes you feel good. And you'll also release endorphins, which help regulate your mood. So it's really, really beneficial. Your sleep will improve, and you are going to feel such a sense of achievement every time you complete a workout. It doesn't matter how short it is. It doesn't even matter if it's a good workout or not your best workout. You will feel such a sense of achievement for getting in there. And you being in the gym helps increase your own self-worth, and having goals outside of what you look like, what your appearance is, what your appearance looks like, how much you weigh. When you have strength goals and you're increasing the weight, your self-worth beyond your appearance will hugely increase. And it's really a really bloody great feeling. Long-term health benefits of stimulating your muscles regularly is it helps support menopause symptoms, reduce your manage insulin resistance, should I say, reducing belly fat because you're exercising, you're stimulating your muscles. It also protects your heart, lowers blood pressure, reduces your risk of heart disease, and strength training helps you remain independent. If you think of your everyday tasks, carrying shopping, climbing stairs, lifting kids, grandkids, it keeps you active and healthy and fit as you in your later years. Your body composition, because let's face it, a lot of us want to strength train to look good, and there is nothing wrong with having a goal that helps you look good, as well as all the physiological and mental benefits. Your body composition will look more toned. Your body composition is your makeup, what your body's made up of, and you have obviously bones and all your organs, but you have body fat, you have muscle. You want to increase muscle and decrease body fat if you have fat to lose. And this is how you're going to improve your body composition, look stronger, look healthier, and look more toned. You'll have so much more energy, and it will really impact you in everyday life. So there is every reason to be doing strength training, and it's really reminding yourself of your why and what you want to achieve. But instead of now going into the gym thinking, oh, what shall I do? Oh, I hate it. Oh, I don't want to go. Is now you've got a bit of a plan. You've got your bit of a cardio warm up. You've got your mobility. You're going to pick your 4 exercises, and you might repeat the same workout a second time in the week. It's fine. You want to get really bloody good at all of these exercises that you're doing. Yes, you can also write yourself another 4 exercises to do on a different day, just to alternate with and also aid recovery, because you don't want to keep working the same exercises all of the time. Especially if they're back-to-back workouts, you need a bit of recovery time, which is why it's good to have another set of 4 exercises that you can do. And there's plenty of machines in the gym for you to pick from. So you're also going to work with your rep range 10 to 15 and your sets, aiming for 3 sets for your 4 exercises that you build up over time. And most importantly, keep a record of what you're doing in the gym so you can monitor your progress. This is motivating. This makes you feel awesome. If you want to maintain cardiovascular fitness, absolutely, but do it after your strength training. Use the majority of your energy for your strength work, and then do your cardio if you want to add it on at the end. And that should give you more structure in the gym. If you do want more help with your workouts and you want to match the nutrition to fully benefit the strength work that you're doing, because your diet will, and consuming adequate protein will help support muscle growth. You need protein to repair and build your muscle tissue. And this is what I do within my coaching, as part of what I do in my coaching. So please do reach out. You can look in the show notes. There's a link to an inquiry form, so you can fill that out. You can message me, and don't forget to like, share. And if you know that this podcast will benefit somebody else, please do share my podcast with them. Thank you for listening. And I'd love to be tagged on you in your gym workout. And if you found this helpful, please do let me know.